The decision for the president to name a replacement for General Brown has sparked considerable discussion, raising questions about the reasoning behind this shift and what it signifies for the leadership of the United States military. The move has been framed as a necessary adjustment in the Pentagon, an institution that has faced a series of challenges in recent years. With the Department of Defense under the leadership of Secretary Heth, this reshuffling is being positioned as an effort to realign the military's objectives and restore confidence among warfighters. One of the primary reasons cited for this leadership change is the Pentagon's repeated financial shortcomings. Over the past several years, the Department of Defense has consistently failed to pass its audits, marking a concerning trend for an institution that commands one of the largest budgets in the world. The Pentagon has failed 7 audits in a row, raising serious concerns about financial oversight, resource allocation, and overall fiscal responsibility. Such persistent failures undermine public trust and raise questions about accountability within the defense sector. Beyond financial mismanagement, there have been growing concerns about the morale and trust levels within the U.S. military. Among service members, there has been a noted decline in confidence in military leadership, with many expressing frustration over the handling of strategic priorities, resource allocation, and personnel decisions. This growing dissatisfaction has fueled the argument that a shake-up at the top levels of the Pentagon is not just warranted but necessary. From the president's viewpoint, the decision to replace General Brown aligns with broader efforts to restore efficiency, accountability, and public confidence in the military. As Commander-in-Chief, the president holds the authority to make personnel changes as he sees fit, and history shows that such shifts are not uncommon across different administrations. Changes in military leadership often reflect a desire to implement new strategic visions, address ongoing issues, and reinforce the president's policy priorities. The decision has also been framed as a part of a larger reformation of the Department of Defense. With Secretary Heth at the helm, there is an opportunity to reshape the military's direction, ensuring that it operates with heightened efficiency and a renewed focus on its core mission. By bringing in new leadership, the administration aims to strengthen national defense, improve military readiness, and enhance the trust of both the American public and military personnel. The Pentagon's inability to pass financial audits has been a persistent issue, raising alarms about inefficiencies in spending and mismanagement of resources. Each year, the Department of Defense undergoes an independent audit to assess the accuracy of its financial statements and internal controls. Despite commanding a budget exceeding $800 billion, the Pentagon has consistently failed these assessments, suggesting significant challenges in tracking expenditures, managing assets, and preventing wasteful spending. The failure to pass audits erodes confidence in the Department of Defense's ability to responsibly manage taxpayer dollars. It also makes it difficult to implement effective financial reforms, as the lack of transparency hinders efforts to identify and rectify systemic inefficiencies. Addressing these audit failures is crucial to ensuring that the military remains well-funded while eliminating unnecessary expenditures and improving overall fiscal responsibility. The declining trust among service members is another major concern prompting leadership changes. Over the past decade, military personnel have expressed growing dissatisfaction with leadership decisions, training policies, and strategic priorities. Many feel that the focus has shifted away from war-fighting readiness toward broader political or social issues, leading to concerns about preparedness and effectiveness on the battlefield. Several surveys and reports indicate that retention rates in the military have been impacted by these concerns. While recruitment efforts remain robust, ensuring that service members feel valued, supported, and confident in their leadership is crucial for maintaining a strong and capable fighting force. By reshuffling leadership, the administration hopes to address these concerns, reaffirming a commitment to military excellence and operational effectiveness. Historically, changes in military leadership are not uncommon. Each administration brings its own priorities and policy objectives, often leading to shifts in key defense positions. Presidents frequently appoint leaders who align with their vision for national security, military strategy, and defense policies. For instance, President Harry Truman famously replaced General Douglas MacArthur during the Korean War due to policy disagreements. Similarly, President George W. Bush made several key military leadership changes during the Iraq War to better align with his administration's strategic approach. More recently, President Joe Biden made notable shifts in military leadership as part of broader defense strategy adjustments. These historical precedents underscore the fact that such changes, while sometimes controversial, are a normal aspect of governing and military oversight. Leadership adjustments are often necessary to ensure that the military remains agile, responsive, and aligned with the administration's objectives. With Secretary Heth leading the Department of Defense, the administration is looking to implement a series of reforms aimed at improving military efficiency and accountability. Secretary Heth has been tasked with overseeing a restructuring effort that includes financial reforms, strategic realignments, and personnel adjustments. His role is pivotal in ensuring that the Pentagon operates with greater transparency, improved decision-making processes, and enhanced military readiness. One of Secretary Heth's primary objectives will be to address the ongoing financial issues plaguing the Department of Defense. Implementing stricter financial oversight, improving internal controls, and ensuring better audit results will be crucial to restoring confidence in the Pentagon's fiscal management. Additionally, he is expected to focus on policies that enhance military readiness, improve training programs, and strengthen the overall effectiveness of the armed forces. In the dynamic arena of White House press briefings, the interactions between the press secretary and journalists often become focal points of public discourse. Karoline Leavitt, at 27, has emerged as a formidable White House press secretary under President Donald Trump's administration. Her tenure has been marked by assertive exchanges with reporters, reflecting a broader strategy of the administration to control narratives and manage media relations. Leavitt's approach to press briefings signifies a departure from traditional norms. Notably, she conducts briefings without the customary binder, relying instead on her preparation and familiarity with the press corps. This method was highlighted during her inaugural briefing, where she addressed reporters by name, demonstrating a personalized engagement. Fox News senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich observed, "No binder for Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt in her first ever WH briefing. Also worth noting, she's called on everyone by name so far, did her homework on the WH press corps. This personalized approach extends to her interactions with non-traditional media." Leavitt has opened the briefing room to new media voices, including podcasters and social media influencers, signaling an inclusive strategy that acknowledges the evolving media landscape. She stated, "We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room." Leavitt's tenure has been punctuated by several high-profile confrontations with established media figures, reflecting the administration's combative stance toward traditional news outlets. During a press briefing, CNN's Caitlin Collins pressed National Security Advisor Mike Waltz on President Trump's assertion that Ukraine started the war with Russia. As Collins attempted to follow up, Leavitt intervened, stating, "You just had two questions, Caitlin," before redirecting the floor to another reporter. In another instance, NBC's Peter Alexander questioned Leavitt about President Trump's mass deportation program and the federal spending freeze. The exchange grew tense as Alexander sought clarification on the prioritization of deportations, to which Leavitt responded by emphasizing the administration's stance that all individuals who enter the country illegally are, by definition, criminals. Leavitt admonished CNN chief national affairs correspondent Jeff Zeleny for interrupting another reporter during a briefing. She remarked, "You're interrupting your colleague, but sure," before addressing his question. Leavitt has also been instrumental in enforcing the administration's policies concerning media relations. A notable example is the barring of an Associated Press (AP) reporter from the Oval Office due to the AP's refusal to adopt the administration's preferred designation of the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. Leavitt defended the decision, stating that access to the Oval Office is a privilege and that the administration would hold news outlets accountable for what it perceives as misinformation. This action drew criticism from various quarters, including the White House Correspondents Association, which emphasized that the administration should not penalize journalists for editorial choices. AP executive editor Julie Pace condemned the move as an attack on independent journalism and a violation of the First Amendment. Leavitt's assertive style has garnered both praise and criticism. Supporters view her as a strong defender of the administration's positions, effectively countering what they perceive as biased media narratives. Her detractors, however, argue that her confrontational approach undermines the role of a free press and stifles journalistic inquiry. Former CNN anchor Jim Acosta faced backlash after comparing Leavitt to a kid telling a tall tale, suggesting she might join what he described as Trump's all-star team of liars. This remark ignited strong responses from Trump supporters, who accused Acosta of hypocrisy and questioned his credibility. Karoline Leavitt's tenure as White House press secretary exemplifies a strategic shift in managing media relations, characterized by assertive engagement and a redefinition of traditional press interactions. Her approach reflects the administration's broader objectives of controlling narratives and challenging established media practices. As the media landscape continues to evolve, Leavitt's role underscores the ongoing tensions between the press and the presidency, highlighting the delicate balance between transparency, accountability, and message control in the realm of public communication.